Good to go?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll call the meeting to order. Can we stand for flag salute to start? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for
all. Roll call. Can we do a roll call?
Yeah, we can do a roll call. Commissioner Layton? Here. Commissioner Cartwright is excused. Commissioner Irons?
Here.
Commissioner Jones is absent. Commissioner Connell?
Here.
Commissioner Tenike? Here. Chair Barisi?
Here.
No quorum.
Perfect. Okay. Previous minutes. Did everyone get a chance to read the previous minutes?
Make a motion to approve the October 16th minutes.
I'll second it. Okay, motion to approve October 16th minutes and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. I myself, motion passes. Okay, we have some public hearings this evening. We're going to start with conditional use permit CUP 25-2, where the Portamoro is the applicant. I'm going to call the public meeting to order. Just to note, I know I said before, but just to make sure we're on the record, if you want to speak during the public comment portion of the meeting, make sure to fill out a request to speak card through our planner. If we ran out of cards, please let them know. Are we out of cards, you said? Oh, perfect. For those of you who attend virtually, please raise your hand in Zoom and wait for myself to address you. It's recommended you seek resolution of a complaint through the appropriate city department by scheduling a meeting with the planning commission or city staff before bringing the matter to the planning commission.
The planning official.
City planning official. Yes, thank you. Okay, so we're discussing conditional use permit CUP 25-2. Portamoro is the applicant. City of Boardman is the owner. The property is described as tax lot 100, assessors map 4 North 25 East 21, and is zoned residential. Future urban subdistrict. This request is to approve a non-potable booster pump station building on half an acre of leased land from the city of Boardman. Criteria for approval is found in the Boardman Development Code, Chapter 2.1, residential, and 4.4, conditional use permits. This is being processed as a Type 3 decision. For the conduct of hearing, we're going to go in the following order: staff report, public testimony in the order of applicant, anyone else in support of the applicant, anyone opposing the applicant, any neutral testimony, and then we'll have a chance for applicant's rebuttal if any is needed. Then we will close the public testimony after the record is closed for testimony. No other testimony will be heard unless the planning commission has a specific question. Planning commission may ask questions of staff, after which the planning commission will discuss the matter and make a decision. Planning commission may make a final decision tonight, or the matter may be continued to a time and date, place certain in the future. If the matter is continued, this will be the only notice of that time and date and place you will receive. For the testimony, if you wish to speak, like I said, fill out a testimony card. Myself, I will recognize those people who wish to speak. Any questions should be addressed through myself. Please state both your name and address for the record into the microphone. We have a Zoom audience and we are being recorded. Please come to the podium, speak directly into the microphone. Please keep your testimony concise and to the point. It should be on the action under consideration and addressing the substantive criteria. We are going to limit the testimony time to 3 minutes. We will have a timer running. please be cognizant of that and understanding of everyone's time. The criteria which applies to the decision are listed in the staff report. Testimony on other issues will be rejected and not considered by the Planning Commission. Failure to raise an issue in sufficient detail to allow the Planning Commission and the parties the ability to respond to the issues prohibits an appeal to LUBA or Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. Similarly, failure to raise constitutional or other issues regarding any conditions of approval in sufficient detail to allow the Planning Commission to respond to the issue prohibits a lawsuit in circuit court on that basis. I'm asking the members of the Planning Commission to disclose any ex parte contacts, bias, or conflicts of interest. Please indicate the nature and extent of the ex parte contact, bias, or conflict of interest. Indicate whether you intend to participate in or abstain from the hearing. Okay, hearing none. Staff report, is that you, Stephanie?
I will be giving that this evening.
Perfect.
The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass around the site plan, vicinity map and the existing site conditions to go along with that staff report. And I do have extra copies here if there's anybody in the audience. The request in front of you tonight is to approve a booster station on a parcel that is zoned residential. And as you know, the Boardman is the applicant and the city of Boardman is the landowner. The location of this is on the south side of Quincy Lane, just east of the South Main Street intersection. And it is zoned residential for urban subdistrict. Pretty straightforward. It's a non-potable booster pump station that will be situated on approximately a half acre of leased land from the city of Boardman to support their improvements located within Quincy Lake. The site is flat and has access to the very little traffic noise or other impacts to adjoining properties. And it is served by all public utilities that are necessary for the proposed use. The planning official would recommend approval of this request based on the criteria with the condition that the applicant have a fully executed lease agreement and apply for an access permit to benefit the city. At this time, the applicant has applied for the county's permit along Coonsey, and it's been approved. Okay, I had heard stuff, but it hasn't. Along with that is what I handed out, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay. Was there any correspondence with this?
No, we didn't receive any direct correspondence.
Okay.
I do have some testimony cards when we get to that portion that I will pass to you.
Thank you.
I have corresponded over email about this.
Okay, did you fill out a form?
No, over email, I have sent in.
Oh.
Part of that.
Okay.
So that is not correct.
For clarification, the correspondence that we received was a request to, one wasn't the term used, the entire hearing. So this action was referenced in that, but it wasn't directly related.
Okay.
Okay, but that's not.
Okay, sir, we'll get to public testimony. I have a card from you. We'll get to everyone in due time. Moving on to the testimony phase. The applicant may now present. Do we have the applicant here?
Yep.
Would you like to present testimony?
Sure, I can. Mostly just here to answer any questions if necessary.
Walter, would you just go ahead and?
If you could state your name.
Yeah. So my name is Walter Ross, work with the Port Morrow Engineering Department. As a representative of Port, the address would be the Port's address, so. Okay, soft spoken. So it'd be 2 Marine Drive Northeast, Boardman, Oregon 97818. We're applying for the conditional use permit for construction of the booster station on roughly a half acre. The project's need would basically be that it's supporting the utility improvements happening in the Coonsey County Road right away. The property is strategically located right next to the highest point along the Coonsey road alignment, as well as kind of the highest point in the county along that project. Adjacent properties are heavily developed with either residential properties or exclusive farm use, things like that. So utilities being allowed in the zone with a conditional use review is why this site was selected. Others were reviewed, but basically because of private ownership or exclusive farm use, this was deemed the most viable location to try.
Okay.
I guess I can answer any questions if anybody has questions from the planning commission.
Does anyone have any questions right now? We can follow up with questions after all testimony too.
Okay.
Yeah, wait, is that it?
That would be it.
Awesome. That's
All
great.
right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the application? In favor for? Is there anyone who wishes to speak against the application? Okay.
Oh, no, you got it.
All right, thank you. Hi, my name is Gary Klinger. I live at 78651 Olson Road. And I have some questions to ask about this because I'm right on the corner of the property there. And I don't quite understand the outline of this, because if this outline is correct, they're taking part of my property. And I would like to, for maybe one of you or all of you to verify that if that's the case. I don't know. Like I say, I don't know who to talk to about it. So I'm here tonight to ask you guys what's going on.
Okay.
Can I approach that bench?
I can help with that if you'd like.
Okay, that would be great. I would like you at the microphone just so everyone can hear you, especially online too, and we're recording.
Yeah, so the site map here,
Oh, thank you. My microphone was turned off. The site map here, the red area, that's what we call our buffer area. Anybody within that red area received a mailing notification
I have
of
it right
this
here.
act. Yes, right. So that's what I wanted to clarify on that map for you. So that's what the red area represents.
Okay.
It is the boundary. It is a distance away from the boundary. That's why that map looks that way. So if you look at did you get what I handed out here that shows the site map?
Yes,
Okay, so that one shows where the actual proposal is on that. So
It's proposed on city property. The city owns the property the action is proposed for.
well, I just want to make sure the city's not going to own part of my property.
I don't know
Yeah,
how that
that's-
could happen.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Yeah.
That's my question. I'm, very
you're
concerned about
good.
it because I've heard detail, they're going to re-widen that road again and, excuse me. And that's,
So, yeah, so what I would say is if you want to know about property lines or easements, come in and talk to the city staff.
I know what my easement is. I've already given out easements to the water people
Okay.
and stuff through my part of my property, but,
That's not changing, is it?
not with this action, no,
Okay,
none of
yeah,
the.
no change.
No.
Just
changes to
adding,
roads or
the
anything.
proposal is add a booster station on city property, not encroaching anyone else's property.
And again, the red outline only means that that shows everybody that's gets notified of said project. And that's all the red shows, or that's all it represents there. It doesn't mean that they think that's all their
don't mean
property.
they're going to come take my property.
No, it just means you were one of the 1, 2, 3, 4 properties there that got notified.
All right, thank you.
My apologies. I know that can be a little confusing.
Appreciate your time, Mr. Klinger. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak against the application? Yes, ma'am. Please step to the microphone and state your name and address.
Yeah, I'll keep this short. So my name is Samantha Aldridge. I live at 70675 Coonsey Lane. I am directly across the street from where this construction has already begun. I know that it's city-owned property and the city can and will do whatever it wants, but there's a lot of concerns that I have. This has been presented as a proposed action, but construction started at the beginning of November. Is it not proposed, or is it just saying this is what we're doing?
So the criteria that we're talking about is a conditional use permit for the booster station to go in. I don't know about starting of construction.
I'm not aware of them actually starting construction. I know that there was going to be some dirt that was moved around.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, it's
Or-
completely altered.
as
I have pictures that she.
Well, I have pictures because it's right.
This is a question that the applicant can respond to on rebuttal.
Yeah.
She's saying is not
Sure.
true, because I've sent her
Yeah.
pictures.
Okay. Mr. Tallman, please,
But when you say something.
Mr. Tallman, please, we'll give you your chance. If you wish to speak, you will have your opportunity. Absolutely.
So I guess I'm not understanding how this is a proposed action. And construction started on the 6th. Like, there's been alteration to the landscape. There's been fencing, there's a trailer put in, there's countless boulders that are taken out of the ground. So it's already irreversible. And it's a nuisance, to be honest. Another concern is it's zoned for residential, but this is an industrial use. So it's kind of changing, a lot of things. And there's already been damage to a lot of wells. What's it gonna do to my well? Who knows? I just want someone to have feedback on this.
What did you say about your well?
Well, because there's been a lot of damage to the wells. What's this gonna do to my property?
Damage in regards to what?
Well, everything.
Example?
There's my well water, there's our driveway, there's the road even.
Because of this?
Yeah.
Because of what they're doing here?
My house is directly across
Yeah.
from where this construction is
Right.
already taking place.
And what have they done to your property?
Nothing, but there will be, damage since there's construction vehicles in and out. My driveway's already been used by the construction vehicles.
And
I
you
can
don't
see the
want that?
dirt. I don't care if they use my driveway,
Okay.
but there is going to be damage to the surrounding areas. It's already an eyesore.
Right. There's not much you can do about that when you're trying to get something built, but I don't think it'll, yeah, whether or not you want to look at a booster pump out your window or not is understandable. But if the city wants to do such, then it's their property, just like you could do what you want on your property. Correct? And I understand your concerns completely.
There's regulations for what people do on their own properties.
There
So I
is.
cannot do whatever I want on my property.
Well, if you can always come to us and ask for the same thing they're doing, ask for,
I'm sure it would be well received.
yeah, and we answered your question, did we not?
You answered part of it, yes, but she's definitely right. They have already started on that. I live right across the road.
No, I think, yeah, you're right. That's what we're here for tonight.
In the morning. You need to drive by there and take a look.
Okay. I appreciate it, Mr. Klinger. I'd like to hear from Samantha. Is there anything else you want to tell us about?
Yeah, I just don't understand what benefit this is gonna give to the residential communities. If it's zoned for residential is my understanding, tax law 100. But this is an industrial use. How does that benefit the residential?
I can respond to part of that.
Okay, my answer is I don't know.
It's a utility, and utilities are allowed in every zone. So,
We have several booster stations throughout the city property already. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's several of them currently for many years as we build our infrastructure.
Yeah, I just haven't ever had one constructed without notice across the street from me. As soon as we got the letter, there was already construction vehicles over there.
She did or did not get notice?
We did. We just got it the same time that construction vehicles were already on that property. Which it is the old irrigation canal, so we're used to vehicles going in and out. But it's, I mean, if you drive by it, it's completely wrecked. But it just doesn't make sense on why a proposed order is already going through, as if this is just dancing for the public.
Well, I think there's a distinction between preparatory work before the actual booster station is constructed and leveling ground in preparation for an anticipated project happens all the time, right? It's not going in quite yet. This has to be done first before construction on that. Principal construction starts, right? But you can do preparatory work.
I mean, my job isn't in construction, but I thought that you had to have approval before you could start doing this.
Yeah, I think it's just timing and semantics, and I think the applicant will probably rebut and give some information with that. It might help clear that up.
I mean, there was some points that were answered, which is why, like, on why the land was selected, but I just feel like there's other areas that are not zoned for residential use that could be used for this utility reason. I'm just not in favor, and I wanted to express that.
Okay.
I do have written concerns if anyone's interested in reading them.
Did you submit it? Yeah.
Missed the deadline
please.
for yesterday.
It's okay. We can take them if you.
Thank you very much. Was there anything else, Samantha? Or
No.
Okay. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak against the application?
Yes.
Can I see
Mr.
those?
Tallman,
Okay, so everything that was just said right there
will
is
you
not.
please state your name and address for the record?
Jonathan Tallman, 706 Mount Hood. I do want to get the information back. Everything that they're talking about, you guys are being buffaloed, okay? This is
Can you
not
def-
approved.
Can you
Hold on.
define they? I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Everything that they said, their questions.
Mr. Klinger?
There was, yes, Sam's question, Gary's question. The TSP plan is not approved. You have no right to get this permit because the TSP plan is not approved yet. If you actually read that packet and go through that packet, they say it is not DLC approved and there's a flaw in it. You cannot push this through. This is actually, like I talked last month at the meeting. Anything you want to say there, Sam? I can't hear you.
I was just clarifying to our chair that you were talking on the TSP, which is a totally separate matter.
No, it is not. No, it is not.
Excuse me, do not
No,
interrupt me,
Sam,
please.
that is not correct,
Please
though.
do not interrupt me.
See,
I am
you're doing
speaking
this
to you.
again, and there's a conflict of interest because you work for Amazon and this is for Amazon. That's my point, Zach, that I tried to bring up last month.
As I was saying,
I believe this is
he's
for
not
the
addressing our conditional use permit
Okay.
that we're in public hearing. for.
Noted.
He's
I would like to
addressing
just make sure that you fill your remaining 1 minute, 45
everybody else
seconds
got
with
time.
concern.
I'm the only one being timed. So they didn't get time, so I shouldn't be timed as well too. So I want to make sure that you are not following inclusive meeting notes.
They also
okay?
don't have a history of trying to run rampant in meetings.
No, because you
Please
guys
continue,
are
sir.
buffaloing.
You need
the
to
truth.
not point.
I
That's
urge
very
you to
aggressive.
Yes,
continue.
the whole thing.
You
This
need
is
to
a
stop
public
that.
meeting. Okay, Stephanie, you got this email of these pictures. You cannot build on this site until the TSP plan goes through. Everything that they're talking about is 100% correct. And you guys are lying about how it's done because the TSP plan isn't through. I'm going to bring up again, all these, the meeting notes that I gave, I got brought up. We have to start representing the people. Please understand what I'm trying to say and the conflict of interest that this raises. Okay.
Only to
This
you.
has to do with the TSP plan and it is not approved. Read it.
Any
Read
other
the TSP
concerns other
plan.
than the TSP? I want to make sure you
No,
get
no,
your
no. It's
concerns
the
in.
DLCD has said, and ask Carla, is this approved by the DLCD? This
Jonathan,
plan?
Mr. Tallman, Mr.
She's not going to
Tallman.
respond because she knows it's the truth.
No, I'm going to
Zach.
ask you to address me again.
Zach, but you're not listening. This is your chair.
I am
This is
listening
your
to you.
meeting. And with this 244 conflict of interest, because you work for Amazon and signed a non-disclosure agreement, this is showing the conflict of interest. And I brought this up last month and I'm bringing it up again because you guys are not following the rules and procedures. please read through what is being done and what is being pushed through, because it affects these type of people, and everything that Sam says is 100% correct.
They
You-
can speak for themselves.
No, they did.
And we heard them.
What you were saying, Mike,
Okay.
wasn't correct. And now I.
Mr. Tallman, the time has
No,
expired.
no, this is, okay, I want.
Mr.
to know
Tallman, the
that
time
you
has
are doing this
expired.
And not responding back. This is an illegal.
Thank you
meeting
very
right
much.
now.
I
And I
appreciate
want
your
this to
concern
add
and
into all the
comments.
other records. And I'm
Mr.
gonna come
Tallman,
back in the public
thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak against the application? Hearing none. Is there anyone who has any neutral testimony? Yes, sir. Could you please step to the microphone and state your name and address?
My name's Earl Aylett, 29732 Rice Lane, Hermiston. My questions are in clarifying what potable water, what the water source will be if it's non-potable water, if there will be open lagoons of any kind for the non-potable water, and is there going to be further pipelines that are going to be using a residential permit to be able to extend to wherever they may go. We have enough affluent water running in the country that I'm not in favor of new permits in residential area. If it includes, open potable water sources, whether it be for aeration or for whatever other purposes. And I have not seen any input which shows me that there has been other sites that have been considered. I got a phone call several months ago asking if I was in favor of it, and I told I was not in favor of it at the time, knowing only what I knew, which was very little, as I know right now. But if it includes non-potable water, then it becomes a real issue with the community for smell, for all the other things that go along with that. And its expansion is what is a concern when it is so close to residential, and it is already zoned residential, whether it be city property or not. It still has to consider what it is zoned for before it's ever able to taken out of that zoning. And without that kind of information, which has not been available to me, I get a letter in the mail saying that I'm a property owner next to it, which is exclusive farm use, which is exactly what it says. We are subject to only agricultural land. And I also see with the red buffer zone, which I don't know what the buffer zone means, that it includes Bureau of Reclamation land that is owned by West End Extension Canal, and it's 100-foot ownership by the federal government on each side. And that was put in the red markings of the maps. But I've had no explanations of how that becomes part of cities or the Port of Morrow's ability to dictate what the usages of those lands are. And without the information, I have to be neutral at the moment, but I'm against the permit because of those that may be infringements upon, the private people in the immediate area, plus the expansion notation that we know not what that means. Especially, we understand that there's intense industrial going on in our area, and a lot of deals being made so that we can have that industry here. But we still have to be very, very conscious of those residential people and the city of Boardman and its expansion. I know that McCarty's property has already been plotted for residential, and then to put a non-potable water source at the corner of it may discourage that, which would be growth for Boardman in the future. And we all don't know which way Boardman will grow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else with neutral testimony? Hearing none.
Can I respond to him?
I mean, we're gonna have discussion after the testimony anyway. The applicant, do you like to give you an opportunity for rebuttal if you would like to address any of the concerns that were brought up? Yep, please step to the microphone.
So again, Walter Ross, applicant for Portomoro or representative to Northeast Marine Drive. So maybe I should clarify a little bit as far as the designation for non-potable water. This is not, so sorry about that. So this is not an effluent line or in any way, shape or form a like waste type of transmission line. This would be river water. So it's part of a surface water treatment. So we would be pumping river water from rainy wells in order to take it to a plant in order to treat it to a potable water standard. The elevations as far as along Coonsey are why we chose to approach the city about development on the property, basically because the hydraulics of the line require at this elevation, we boost the pressures in the line and able to transmit the water. As far as the development on it, as far or construction activities, official construction activities have not actually started as far as any kind of full development.
Principal construction, you're talking.
Principal construction, sure. Yeah. So there's site prep going on right now, mostly for a job trailer, which is close to the road, probably why it's visible damage, and that being mostly because of the location close to the power lines. That's where we can get a power drop for the construction trailers and the job shacks. Also along those lines, site prep without a full planning approval is allowed up to half acre, and our site is at a half acre, but we're not scratching the full amount at this time without approval. But currently it's just prep. It's not actual full construction activities.
Is there damage to the road?
No, not that I know of. That as far as grading, so we'd have to grub and take organic vegetation off, level the site. There's probably some rock preparation in order to keep things nice and neat. Part of the county access permit that's already been approved is access in a adjacent road to the west of the property edge, which would be.
Are you planning on closing that road during construction or?
No.
No, okay.
We would not be, well, for this specific portion of the project, no, we would not be doing that. The adjacent project, which is not part of this application, but just kind of ancillary to, will need to have some road closures because the pipeline is in the road right of way. So there will be closures effective for that.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to remember all of the points that I can.
Open lagoons.
Open lagoons. So no, there will be no open lagoons. Any of this on that project?
If everyone's fine with it, I would like to continue the questions to address the issues that were raised. I think it's.
Yeah, so no open lagoons. Basically, the entire site would be a fence at the half acre limits, along with a leveled lot covered with aggregate, and then a booster building, which is a pre-engineered metal building, which will be brown and tan, and it's 24 by 50.
What size of line? Just out of curiosity.
What's 24 inch?
24 inch.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, well, there's two different lines. So there's a 30 that comes in, and then a 24 that goes out. Okay. If I am remembering that correctly.
I'm just thinking future development, not having to dig it up again.
Yeah, so it is sized
the first time type thing.
It and the booster pumps are sized large enough to avoid additional development. Hopefully for.
And you said the idea is this is going to be potable at some point in the future, or no?
So this line itself will not be potable. It'll just be transmission of surface water.
From a rainy well, you said.
Right. So we can't designate it as potable because it is surface water that hasn't been treated at this point. So any water coming into the station and leaving hasn't had treatment and we can't define it as potable per OHA.
Gotcha.
So that's the reason
Okay.
why it's non-potable.
Is there any risk of it contaminating any of the wells or anything around it if there was a said leak or a crack or anything like that in the lines?
No,
So that it shouldn't damage the neighboring people.
it should not. So this water would essentially be river water.
Are there any other alternatives to this property? Out of curiosity, that you've researched or that you have available? I understand like
Yeah.
why you chose the site, but are there other sites you looked at?
So we have looked at possibly going other options just as a tank type of scenario. But like I said, the additional properties in the immediate area are residential. So in other words, if we were to look at immediately adjacent properties, we would have to be looking at condemning property and taking it or paying somebody fair market value and accommodating them for.
So what's the risk of not using this site location?
Well, so if we didn't use this site location, we would have to either look at private property and getting private property, or look at possibly putting it on EFU ground, which obviously is highly valuable ground for
Substantially
exclusively for
more
farming.
cost. It sounds like.
The residential would probably be more cost as far as fair market value. But the value for exclusive use farming land is kind of a well-known code issue that, you can't build too much on it because you want to keep that valuable land for production and other uses down the line.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Am I recognized? Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm sure you have a question. I'd rather get it
My
out.
question will maybe be answered by him.
Okay.
You talked about a new phase, another phase that doesn't fit underneath this change of zoning. That's directly addresses my concern that the expansion of this, how will it infringe upon? And what are the possibilities, or is this going to be a major water distribution site for the city of Boardman for decades to come and enlarge itself to a mag?
Okay, fair. Could you address that real quick? Do you have any?
I can't speak to the city's plans for the property. So I can't speak to the city's plans for the properties as far as water distribution. As far as Port of Morrow goes, this is just for the single pipeline that will be heading down Coonsey for surface water treatment.
And there's no new permits or anything being looked at to change zoning again for an addition?
Not that we're looking at or debating tonight. Not that I know of. Maybe in the future. I don't know.
With lack of information, that's why my questions, because
Fair enough.
we haven't seen enough about this project to
I can tell you tonight, we're only speaking.
going into your books and trying to read the papers that are within their application, that apply. It's a concern that, to me, that it's a concern if it continues to blow up.
Understood.
8 more, 10 more data centers, and where does the water go? Is it part of the data centers, and then it imposes more on the?
I can tell you
residential permits?
that is well outside the scope of what we're discussing tonight, but I hear you. Yes.
It will infringe more.
Sir?
That's true.
Can I ask you a question? Where's these lines being put in at? What part of the?
Do we have maps? The map that
I think it
we.
shows on there, doesn't it? The one line on this right here, the
So with
Yeah.
what I handed out,
black, red and white line.
it shows the area of development. And at this time, the city, as I understand it, has leased a half an acre of that land there. So that's what's in front of you tonight, is that portion.
And that's the only thing that we're discussing tonight. So I don't know, sir, Mr. Klinger, about your question asked about pipeline installation. What I would say is maybe direct that discussion toward the Port of Morrow.
Zach, can we ask the people in in the meeting to refrain from talking while the testimony is going on, please?
I think that's probably a
And
good
for the
idea.
benefit of the planning commission, Coonsey is a county road, and this may be helpful to the folks with those similar questions. Any activity within Coonsey Road would be in front of the Board of Commissioners at the county level.
Right. Yep. And we're only discussing the city property here.
Correct.
On this one map that you gave us, that's got the big red section, this the broken segregated line, black, red and white, that kind of jogs over and jogs down and goes down alongside the circle. Is that the proposed pipeline route?
No, as it's.
On-
it's-
Turn it
No,
over.
that's the
Turn
city
it
limits
over.
line. That's the
This
city
one?
limits line.
Oh, okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
If I can help clear some of that up, the pipeline is actually not shown in
Okay.
any of this documentation.
Is that something available that the port would have available for people to seek?
Yeah, so it could be. Public documents would be.
Yeah, we're not discussing it
Available.
here. I just want to.
We're not. It's actually.
Would we be?
It's not part of this.
Yeah.
Jurisdiction's approval umbrella. So that was through the county and as an outright use in that right of way. The pipeline's already been approved to head from bombing range to Tower Road.
Perfect. Okay. Any other questions for the applicant?
Questions?
Is there anything that hasn't been addressed, ma'am?
Yeah, 2 additional questions.
Okay. Please step to the microphone and please make it quick because I'm about to close this public hearing.
Yeah, I'll be quick. Where do road closure notices get sent? Because my property.
That
exists
is a
right-
civil question and not in the purview of this meeting. I would say maybe ask the city staff, or I'm not sure if the Port of Morrow knows, but the city staff might be able to help you, or seek the Port of Morrow.
Again, it's a county road.
Yes. Okay, so at this time, I'm gonna
I have one more
close.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
I said I have 2 questions.
Sure.
Who's responsible if there's damage to the irrigation that runs underneath that property?
I would say probably the person or entity that caused the damage.
Okay.
I am no lawyer. I would say
Okay.
in legal matters of ownership.
Yeah, if the port people do the damage, they would be responsible to fix it, I would assume. Just like if it was my company that did the damage, I would be responsible to fix it. Obviously.
Thank you. Okay, closing the public testimony portion of the hearing is now closed. Staff, is there anything that the staff needs to address?
I think I
issues
would
raised?
just clarify, there was one part of the public testimony that came up speaking about this being a industrial use. And this was
Yes.
reviewed as a conditional use permit because it is identified within the code as a public utility. So this was reviewed under the criteria for a public utility use.
Right. Okay, does the planning commission have any questions for staff?
I would add one additional point of clarification. So the map that you have with the big red block. So there's a darker red line in there, and that generally outlines the boundary of the property. Anything red beyond the property boundary is the notice area. So Ms. Case used the term buffer area, and I think that could be misleading. I think it's more appropriately defined as the notice area. So that's how we define who we're going to notice, the folks who receive that adjoining property owner notice. And it's a 250-foot area around the subject property.
Okay, with this being a conditional use permit, was there any conditions identified or are
Yes, the 2 conditions were that the applicant apply for a access permit from the county to benefit the city, which they have applied for and obtained it. And then the other one is that they execute a lease agreement with the city of Boardman, because the city of Boardman's the landowner.
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, and that agreement the city is good with that agreement?
It's pending.
Okay, okay.
Can I ask just a
Okay.
clarification question real quick?
The public portion of this is closed, so the planning commission is going to deliberate on that now. Any other questions from the planning commission? Or should we move to discussion?
I don't know what she has to ask if it's quick.
It's quick. I just overheard, I guess from what I'm understanding, there is no markings on this right now as far as where the water line is going. You're saying it's
Correct.
going from bombing range out to tower,
I don't have that information, ma'am.
but it's not on this map.
Correct.
Not-
Right.
Okay.
It is located.
Any other questions for staff or? Okay, discussion. Thoughts, concerns?
I know, but I do appreciate the people that spoke in regards to, their concerns in regards to damage to their property. Or the, you know, the inconvenience of having something built right across from your house. I can completely understand that. The benefits, to the whole community, I think are fairly clear in a long-term thing. I mean, we have to be able to get water moved from one side of our county to the other, obviously, for various reasons. The amount of work that's going on at Tower Road is phenomenal. And the only way to do that is with booster pumps. We have them right downtown, booster pumps, right before you go over the viaduct, there's a booster pump right there. And that's for the same thing, is to move water, because gravity doesn't move it far enough. So we have to install a mechanical device, which is a booster pump, just to push it along. Doesn't mean we're collecting water there or anything like that. And that unfortunately puts a building in your line of sight. But it's done at as minimal of, in whatever you call it, in
Impact?
impact as possible. Yeah, he may even mention the color of the building. You know, it fits with the desert. So, but I just wanted to recognize that I do understand, at least I do understand your concerns completely.
Yeah, I think the one that might not have been addressed, Samantha's concerns, sorry, I don't remember your last name. Is it the concern about impact to your groundwater? This has been, Ranny collector, Ranny well, should have essentially no impact on groundwater. There's coming from the river, well underground.
The irrigation line's also a concern. The irrigation district's already messed it up, is the word I would not usually use.
Yeah, I think that the takeaway for me is that there's no tying to the irrigation district. It's not pulling from groundwater at your property or near your property adjacent in that area. It's booster well, like Mike was saying. I echo his comments. I very much appreciate the public comment. Mr. Earl and Samantha, very much appreciate that. Anyone else have any thoughts on the issue? Concerns?
I mean, I can respect the fact that it's annoying to have the construction and that it's kind of a pain in the rear right at the moment, but once it's all said and done and the construction stops, it's just going to be a building that's not going to have a lot of activity, shouldn't have a lot of noise. It'll be probably minimal upkeep from what I would assume. So yeah, it might be inconvenient a little bit right now. And I can understand that it's annoying, but I think once it's done, it'll level out a little bit.
Ragnar, Sam, any thoughts, concerns at all? Nada? Okay. I guess one thing I would note is that, what I think of, in what I would think of industrial use booster pumps in a, conditional use like this for infrastructure services. We have several around us. There's, I think of the North Boardman area where we have, city collector wells and pumps right adjacent to residential areas. little or no impact in those areas. It's just essential infrastructure services.
Except for the original construction, and that's it. And
Yeah.
that's a short period of time in the overall.
And that, yeah. I see this essentially as the same thing, as a conditional use of the land for that, those infrastructures, services that we need for growth and expansion in the area. And the risk of, fairly low risk of going in that direction. I don't see any concerns that outweigh those risks. Is there any other thoughts on it? If not, I would entertain a motion to either move forward with the permit or not move forward with it, or to move forward with any conditions for approval.
I'll move to approve it, the conditional use permit CUP 25-50 and a 2 as presented.
Second it.
Okay, so there's a motion to approve conditional use permit CUP 25-2 as presented and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
One opposed and 4.
Who was the second?
I was a second,
Okay.
Right, 1 second.
and I was opposed to.
Motion passes. Okay, so we have we're gonna move on to the second public hearing that we have. We're doing location on time, which is amendment LND 25-5 with Unity Partners LLC as the applicant. The same public hearing instructions and rules apply, and the same with correspondence and testimony. I'm not going to reread everything to you all. So does anyone on the planning commission want to disclose any ex parte contacts, bias, or conflict of interest? If so, please indicate the nature and extent of ex parte contact, bias, or conflict of interest, and whether you want to participate or abstain. And again, this is for the amendment LND 25-5 for Unity Partners LLC. Okay, hearing none. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to challenge a? Is that? We do not have that. Okay. Staff report, I believe, on this item is next.
That is me. So this is an application from Unity Partners LLC. Hardeep Singh is their principal. It's a request to amend the City of Boardman Development Code to add proposed section 2.1.700 high density housing to chapter 2.1 residential district. Rather than go through the staff report, I'm just going to summarize it and kind of get to the heart of the matter tonight. You're all aware we've been growing pretty rapidly in Boardman. We've been trying to figure out how to accommodate multiple types of housing. Our development code is circa 2001. It's incredibly out of date, and Boardman is stretching some statutory requirements as we've not updated the code in quite some time. Mr. Hardeep's proposal, while intriguing and is attempting to get to, I think, the heart of what we kind of want to figure out how to address. After we submitted the proposal to the Department of Land Conservation Development, staff have had conversations with our regional rep and with a housing rep out of the Department of Land Conservation Development. And they shared in some clarity their concerns kind of with the status of the development code and the fact that there are a number of things that we're not consistent with or compliant with current law. That's known by city staff. It's been known for a long time. And that's part of the reason that we're doing a lot of the planning work that we are. And that's why we've engaged with Cascadia Partners to help us update both our comprehensive plan and our development code. That's a project that's underway, but not to completion yet. We also have several other planning projects that are providing input to both a comprehensive plan update as well as other amendments to our development code. So based on that comment with the Department of Land Conservation and Development, staff is recommending that while you could move forward and recommend approval to the City Council of the proposal, and I've talked briefly with Mr. Singh about this, we're recommending that based on two things. One, Cascadia Partners has completed a audit memo. It's a memo that we actually started as city staff probably 2 years ago, an audit of the development code. In fact, we shared it with the Planning Commission as part of a kind of a work session that we had some time ago. They have added significantly to that audit memo, and in particular, they added Table 4. And Table 4 outlines the City of Boardman Development Code relative to housing, almost exclusively to housing, and identifies all of the areas that we either currently don't comply with or only partially comply with, or they are recommending that we codify. Something you wouldn't necessarily have to codify, but they're recommending that we add it to the development code. In talking with them, the irony of all of this push at the state level to get to houses being built, and I say houses, I really mean dwelling units, whether it's a house or a duplex or a fourplex or a multifamily, 20 apartment building. Dwelling units is what the state wants us to get to. There's been a lot of statute that has been passed by the legislature, a lot of new programs. And of course, when the legislature passes law, the impacted agency has to draft rules. And we've been waiting forever on the rules to engage both our housing capacity analysis and also rules on kind of housing requirements. Those are all coming to the end of that rulemaking. We are kicking off our housing capacity analysis, and we're actually a little ahead of the final adoption of the rules, but we'll work with them to make sure that as we move through the process, we comply. Same thing with the model housing code. It is due to be adopted, as I understand it, in December. So again, we're a little ahead of them, but gosh darn, we're going to figure out how to work through where they haven't quite got to yet. So provided to you all as part of the packet was both the table 4 in that audit memo, and then the middle and large city model code. And that model code is hefty. It is 70 pages plus or minus. There's a lot to get through. It's actually a lot from my perspective. DLCD's intent is to split that into both a middle cities and a large cities. So there are some things in there that won't be applicable to us because while our population has certainly grown over the past 10 years, we don't have more than 25,000. So we're not a large city, but we are a medium city. The types of things that are missing is standards that say duplexes have to be treated the same as a single family dwelling. It's allowance of cottage clusters or accessory dwelling units, or the ability to partition a single family lot into 2 lots. There are a lot of things in the model code and in the statute that have been passed that are concerning to me. But I'm not the decision maker. If you want to talk to those decision makers, they're in Salem. We all are here represented by Greg Smith. Not too far from us is Bobby Levy, or our senator in the region is Todd Nash. So if you're concerned with what the statute is, that's your person to talk to. We are at a point where we have to look at that statute, and to become fully compliant, we have to incorporate that into our development code. So I certainly I have encouraged Mr. Singh to come tonight and comment. This is a hearing. But when you read through the staff report, I go on and further define what I just shared with you, and would encourage you to, and again, based on Mr. Singh's comment, continue this to December. I will do my best to have something related to a draft option that quite honestly will replace our entire residential chapter, not just add a component to it. And in that, provide the mechanism for us to get to full compliance. And I think in doing that, help address some of the things that Mr. Singh is wanting to do with his property. We do not have clear standards for mixed use, for multifamily development. We don't have clear standards for how manufactured home parks should be developed, or how manufactured home subdivisions should be developed. We've been learning a lot as we've been working through all of the updates that we're working on, and a lot of the development that has been happening. I think Boardman has been incredibly challenged over the past probably 8 years with the significant residential development that has happened. I know I have taken Barry's name in vain more than once, and he was a good friend. But we're working hard to figure out how to do these developments better. But quite honestly, we don't have the code we need to really support where we want and where we honestly need to go. So I'm happy to answer your questions. I am curious to hear Mr. Singh's testimony. We did talk briefly the other day about this. I want to see I know where his development is proposed for this. That development is not a part of this conversation. This is a text amendment. We're not talking about any particular development. And my objective is to create a development code that will make development easier, not only for developers, but for staff and for you as the Planning Commission. And I think that's where I would like to steer this particular ship. So I will conclude my staff report with that, and encourage you to move to public testimony. Again, I'll answer any initial questions you have, but thank you.
Okay, thank you. Didn't have any questions for Carla?
I just wanted the December 8th, if we move this forward to the December 18th meeting, what are we hoping we accomplish at that meeting?
It would be a first kind of good look at a proposed replacement for our residential, for chapter 2.1 in the development code, and probably some ancillary pieces associated with it as well. Mm-hmm.
Oh, point of order. I don't think I actually said we'll open the public meeting, but
probably need to gavel that
public
in.
meeting has been opened, and I would like to, for the record, make sure that staff report is included in that. My apologies. Any other questions for staff? Okay. Public testimony. Is the applicant?
It's Mr. Singh is here.
I'd like to state your name and address in the microphone, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hardeep Singh. Address, it's in Kennewick, Washington. This particular project, we own this property for quite some time, and been around here in Boardman, and we're trying to address housing affordability with this particular project. See that housing starts here above 300,000. And with the current interest rate environments, it's hard to qualify for that mortgage. I know we're proposing a manufactured homes here. I would rather not call it a manufactured home park because it's going to be a little different. These lots that we're proposing, will be 35 by 100, so about 3,500 square feet lots. And these will be homes, manufactured home placed on these lots, and individuals can buy the lot and the house, and they can get a conventional mortgage. Currently, without digging through a lot of numbers, and we still have a lot of unknowns here on how this codes will come through, our target price for these homes will be somewhere between 200,000 to 250,000. And with Fannie Mae conventional mortgage, somebody can own this house for as little as 3% of down payment. So for between $5,000 and $15,000, you can actually have a house with a mortgage payment around $1,500, which is equal to about a rent for these particular homes. They're about 1,000 to 1,100 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath. So that's something that we're trying to address with this project. I talked to Carla about the code and how there are certain things are missing, and she educated me on the process with the DLCD. I'm in support of that. I haven't get a chance to review that particular part of the code, but I'll do that here in next week. And I think if we can make this thing work, we can definitely have about 30, 40 units at an affordable price for people.
Quick question. You said you don't want to call them manufactured homes. Are they?
They are manufactured home, but I don't want to call it a manufactured home park. In a park is usually you own a house, but your lot, your lease, right? So you always have a payment. In this particular case, we're selling the lot and the house.
Sure. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who wishes, is there any testimony in support of the application? Is there any testimony opposing the application? Yes, sir. Please step to the microphone, state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Michael Hughes. I'm the fire chief here in Boardman, 911 Tentone Street. As the life safety provider in this town, I'm gravely concerned about the lots getting smaller. Our equipment's not getting smaller, it's getting bigger. And we're already having challenges getting in some of these areas that are being built. And I would recommend that we be heavily involved in those decision-making processes with the codes. Right now, I feel that it's both on the fire and on the medical side that we're putting our citizens at risk by making these lots so small and for us to get in and out of them. So that was it. Not a whole lot, but just wanted to voice our concerns.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Is there any other additional testimony opposing the application?
Fine. Okay.
Someone raise their hand on Zoom?
Yes. So I don't know if you want to go first. Right now? Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Do I want to what?
To take the
Zoom.
Zoom.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, you can't see up there. Somebody raised their hand on Zoom.
Oh, yes. Can we
Okay.
please take that question? Yeah.
So Rick, go ahead.
Yes, my name is Rick Stocco. I'm the chief of police here in Boardman. I just wanted to clarify, are we suggesting that we reduce the lot size to 3,500 square feet?
Did I miss a chance while I was out?
We have someone giving testimony at the moment.
I'm just trying to clarify for my comments.
What is the lot size we're talking here?
So at this point, we have not defined a minimum lot size. Is what I mean, I would just share that with both our chiefs here that are in the room, in the room and on Zoom. The proposal as originally presented did have a minimum lot size, but again, my recommendation is to move forward, changing kind of the process a little bit and looking more closely at amending our entire residential code. Yes, we're looking at potentially lowering the minimum lot size. We have a target, but there's nothing at this point in time to provide to you as this is what we're proposing.
Okay, fair enough. Does that answer your question, Chief?
It does. I just want to state for the record, I am not in support of reducing our lot size. Our standard lot size for the city of Boardman for many years have been 8,000 square foot lots. To reduce those to stack housing in here poses too many risks. And I believe personally that it devalues my property value when I start seeing reduction in lot sizes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Is there anyone else who wishes to give testimony opposing the application? Yes, sir. Could you step to the microphone and state your name and address, please, for the record?
Randy Baker, 70251 Pioneer Lane.
Evening, sir.
I have a question of clarification. Is this for the double wide trailers lot or the single wide trailer lots?
We're not.
Well,
talking about that right now.
not really either. This is, so what we're talking right now is about a request to amend the code for higher density residential development, not really on
Okay,
what is going on.
Okay, could I just ask 3 questions on that subject?
Yeah.
Okay. And I ask this because I own 9 acres right across the road from it. The question is where the I don't know the right term, I say trailers, but the single modulars, I've noticed, I mean, they're already being built. And when I was trying to do work, the city lot sizes were much larger. And you made the statement, ma'am, that those numbers are still from 2001. So I know when I was looking in 2016, are they the same?
You need to direct your question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So what the question is about lot size?
I can answer that.
Right, for fire safety.
I can answer that.
Okay.
To some degree. I know that the standards for a trailer park, a mobile home park, is different than a standard residential. They're allowed smaller lot to a certain degree. Is that correct?
Right, and in a park, it's a space, not a lot.
Yeah. Which is what that is across from your property is a park.
The single wides?
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
park.
I thought those were single lots, I was told.
They're not single lots. No, they're you don't own the lot.
Oh, okay.
In fact, they're rentals, correct? Yeah. Yeah. Now, if it was if there was something else there that made it a subdivision, like Bailey Park, that's different, and those lots would still have to maintain the minimum that is set now, which is what you know. So it hasn't. They're proposing to bring it down, but like you've heard from the chief, they have their concerns about that.
Okay. Well, my concern really came up just a couple months ago when unfortunately Boardman had that experience of a lot of houses just going one by another, and they were far separated from what they are right across from the old Flock place now. I mean, one day I measured them. There's 12 feet between each place. And after seeing the devastation that we've just had and trying to volunteer some time to help do all that cleanup, it just seems so unsafe, and I don't understand why it's just boom like that. And maybe I've just been gone along too long. It just looks so dangerous to me. The second question, well, that was the distance, the 12, and the recent fire. The double wide unit that's going in directly across from the Flock place there, and that Flock place address is 69994 is what that address is. And right across from that is where I received the documentation of the double wide trailers going in, just boom, 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 right together. And now I understand those are cell lots. So here again, when I did my research, I thought it was far more than 3,500 square feet, as was just addressed, per living unit.
because that's why I stopped my subdivision project of the 9 acres. Anyway, my comments are only for fire risk and, I mean, you don't know how long I've been around here. I mean, it just houses, so many, 12 feet apart is not a safe thing.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there anyone other testimony opposing the application?
Yes, Jonathan Tolman. Again, I want to state this is not TSP approved. You're approving something that is not TSP approved. That has everything to do with this application as well too, and permitted use. Also, I would like to note that the city of Boardman is an applicant on this. Okay, so there is a conflict of interest because of the applicant on this ORS 244. So we really need to look into these type of things and how this works and why this works on these type of things. And I really appreciate Mike Hughes and I really appreciate Chief Stokoe, even though I've disagreed on politically, standing up for the citizens with integrity and character and fortitude, because that is not easy. I want what's best for Boardman. That's my whole point on all this stuff. And I can go through the dynamics of how this makes, if we do things proper and we follow the right procedures and protocols, I still want to work with Carla, okay, to make Boardman a great city. But we have to follow the procedures and protocols correctly. It comes off confrontational because there's so many layers to it. And I'm not able to talk about all the layers because you say it's too focused. It makes a difference. I have to show all the layers of it. And I'm not trying to be confrontational to you. I'm trying to make Boardman a better. I appreciate Mike Hughes bringing up the fire issue. I appreciate Chief Stokoe. One of the issues that I have is when you're 12 feet apart and you play loud music next to your neighbor, it could be Hispanic music or it could be, you know, Italian music or rap music. That causes issue with friction with people. So people like Martine have issues with their next door neighbor just to tick them off. And we already know how thin those walls are. We're packing people in thinking that we're saving costs when we're actually causing more problems, because that's going to raise our police workload. And it's already, with the mental illness issues that we have, is already too much. So when you throw all those factors in, okay, this is a no-brainer to say, you know what, let's do the procedures and protocols correctly. And let's look at what really we're adding here to make Boardman a better place. My parents moved here in 1978. I went to high school here. I want Boardman to succeed. It doesn't succeed, in my opinion, and this is all my opinion, when we do it this way and we ram it home. And I understand we need to have, you know, housing. I want housing. I want more people to move here. But we have to understand what we're really doing. And I really appreciate you listening on this. And again, I apologize for coming off confrontational, but it does scare me, just like with that fire that we had a couple months ago. It is scary because once this Boardman blow wind comes, boom, it's gone. It's the whole thing's done. And we had only 5 houses. I think it's 5 houses. Can you imagine 129 units, you know, in that same probably 10-acre space? It's something that we really need to think about. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Appreciate your time. Is there any other testimony opposing the application? Okay, do we have any neutral testimony? Okay, the applicant, if you wish to rebut anything, speak to step to the microphone, state your name again, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hardeep Singh. So some of the conversation went into the current projects that's going on and what we're proposing. For this particular project, you know, appreciate the concern brought by the chief and the police chief. We don't have the guidance on how to design this project. This is just a proposal until we get through this Boardman codes. So from here, from Unity Partners, we will follow all the codes and regulation that city will put together and design this project based on those codes and regulations. And we will address everyone's concern with this particular project. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to close the public testimony. Does the staff need to respond to anything in particular?
I'll share a few things. So I know that Mr. Singh is speaking to a project. And I just want to clarify again, and the text amendment is proposed would be applicable. It would be an option within the development code for use for high density. And then I will further state that we're asking for the planning commission to kind of redirect this tonight, to continue the hearing and to kind of encourage us in what I hope your deliberation is before you make the motion to continue, to engage with addressing those issues that are identified from the consultant that's working with us on the development code around the table 4 issues, and then look at the DLCD middle city model code. The fire life issues are of concern to planning staff as well. We're not immune to those. We are also challenged, though, with trying to find that balance between the affordability and finding that balance between affordability and those other issues and concerns. And there are issues and concerns beyond life safety as well. At this point in time, our intent would be, again, based on your deliberation and your guidance, to go back and look at that model code and come back in December with a draft. It'll be rough. We'll do our best to have something out so people can look at it and provide comment, come back in December and, kind of further talk about what it's saying. Boardman has long had a minimum lot size of 8,000 square feet with an option for 6,700 square feet, I think is the other option, with certain frontage requirements. But communities throughout the region are reducing those minimum lot sizes. And that's driven in a lot of respect to the cost issues, the cost of infrastructure, pipe, whether it be for water or sewer. The street itself is not an inexpensive proposition. And in our recently adopted public works standards, we have retained our local street at 60 feet in width to help address much of that concern about the access for whether it be a police car responding, a fire truck responding, or an ambulance responding. So that 60-foot local street that will be in every neighborhood is, I think, a big piece of that. But yeah, there's a lot we want to address. And so, yeah, I'll stop there unless you have any further questions.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for staff? Okay, discussion time. Have any thoughts?
I don't think we know enough about what the state's done to it's like we don't know if we have the money in the bank yet or not. And I don't think it's going to hurt if we hold off until we understand better how this affects everything and what we're going to do to keep us in compliance with that or bring us up to speed with that for a long time.
Yeah, my concern is the race condition we have, kind of cart before horse type of thing, with changes coming and being in development. That would have bearing on this decision. I think it would be hasty to make a decision now. I agree with staff about staying this until we have, it's low risk, until we know more information. I don't see an issue with that.
Yeah, if we have to live by the state's rules, we need to know what those are before we can adjust our situation as it is. I mean, we know we have work to do, But until we get direction on that from them, and obviously it's slow coming. I mean, we need to wait, I believe.
Well, we do have a draft model code, and that was part of the packet, and that's what we would draw from. Where we are waiting for them to split that into a large and a medium, but we don't need them to do that for us to move forward. We can sort out what is directly applicable to Boardman based on our population and what is not. Yep.
And that would equal a long-term solution?
Yeah, I do think that if we work to adopt this model code, we are adopting a long-term solution that will address issue. Well, okay, it will address issues in a long-term manner until next year when the legislature meets. And I have no control over that.
Fair enough. I think it's prudent, given the risks we've heard from testimony, to wait. Does anyone have any other concerns with that?
I believe we should hold off and take this draft and involve some stakeholders and turn in, I'll call it a work session, kind of like what we've done with other development codes and gone through it line by line, kind of, and fine tune it off of that draft.
Yeah, procedurally, we're in a public hearing process. So I can't notice next month as a work session. We could certainly function as though it's a bit of a work session. So it's just
call it a work session,
right. We won't be calling it a work session, but we'll make sure that we provide it to you, and we'll try to get what we can to you as soon as we can. In the meantime, I would just encourage you to maybe do a deep dive into that model code that was posted as part of this packet.
If anyone has any other thoughts, not, I would like to entertain a motion as a direction for this to either move forward with the amendment, move forward with amendments, or move forward without amendments, or to continue it, or to not move forward.
I'll move to continue amendment LD 25-5 to the December 18th, so that way we can get more information and do it correctly.
A second.
Okay, so motion and second to move to continue amendment LND 25-5 to December 18th. Planning Commission meeting at 6 p.m. here for reasons previously stated with risk and code changes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. Okay. Moving on to our next public hearing, which is LND 25-7.
I think the number in the motion is not right, so, okay.
Is it not LND 25-7?
It is LND, but when you get to the motions, the motion number is not right, just letting you know now.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I see that. Okay, all right. So I will open the public hearing. So this is for, this is a major modification. This is LND 25-7. The city is the applicant. And this is HC Land LLC is the owner. Property is described as tax lot 6,500, 6,600, 6,700, 6,800, 6,900, 7,000, 7,100, 7,200, 7,300, 7,400, 7,500, and 7,600 of Assessor's Map 4 North 25 East 17 DC is zoned residential. The request is for a major modification to combine two parks into one, create walking paths which connect to Unity Manufactured Home Park, and establish future road connections. The criteria for approval are found in the Boardman Development Code, Chapter 4.6, modifications to approved plans and conditions of approval. This is being processed as a Type 3 decision. Staff report.
Thank you,
Stephanie?
Chair. It is, yes. Again, I will be handing out your site plan to be attached to that. My apologies. And I do have extras if there's anybody in the audience that would be interested. Same thing. Yeah, so if you received it, we just made it two-sided, the notice that you received, but you're welcome to have one of these. The request in front of you tonight is to approve a major modification to the River Ridge subdivision, which is applicable to phases 6 and 7 as it was approved a few years ago. The applicant in this is the city of Boardman and the owner is HC Land LLC. And the location of this property is north side of Coonsey Lane, east of the intersection with Paul Smith. The city is requesting a major modification to combine the two parks into one identified on that plan in front of you and create a walking path that would connect to the adjoining property, which is Unity Manufactured Home Park, establishing future road connections to the east. So the phases 6 and 7 of the River Ridge subdivision were previously approved, and this would make alterations to that. The importance of this is that the two parks be combined and the safe routes to school path be an area for that be created that adjoins the neighboring property. Part of the reason that this is in front of you tonight is because there would be a reduction of more than 10% of the area reserved for common open space. And this request would attempt to balance that park with the transportation needs in the neighborhood. So there are 3 items incorporated into this: the safe route to school connection, the combination of the parklands, and the third component is the future road connection to the east. The planning official would recommend the approval of this major modification of this in front of the planning commission tonight. That basically makes up the substance of it. I think that what is identified on that master plan there shows in notes the future road location, the combination of Park 4 and Park 2, and then the safe routes to school over off of Woodpecker Street would be identified there. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
So yeah, I got a question. So the combining of parks, are they planning on moving the lot locations of those?
It would eliminate one of either Park 2 or 4 and create the residential lots there. And then in the combining of those two parks, then there would be an easement. The landowner is willing to dedicate that easement for the safe routes to school.
As well as create the road step to the property.
Right, correct. Yep. So I don't know if they've indicated which park they would be willing to leave in place, but one of them would be residential lots instead of a park area.
And they still fall under like the green space minimum for the number of lots in that?
So it would be a reduction of more than 10%, which is why it's in front of you tonight. Okay. Yeah.
And where the future road is, those lots are they're proposing to not have lots there, but for future road access, right?
Correct.
And not to plan to build houses there?
Correct. So essentially, from the landowner's perspective, the city made this request of the landowner for that dedication, and they were willing to exchange some of that land for this. So
there's no connector road on that side currently, right? That goes north-south there?
No, correct.
Is there a planned road to go north-south, or is this like a Coonsey access, like a south access?
It would eventually connect to Coonsey in the future.
Okay. No plans to go northbound?
No, I'm sorry.
Not to Coonsey, but to the land to the east.
To the east. Sorry, I was looking at it sideways.
Okay. Yeah. So east-west access, the only north-south access being the one
River Ridge.
Correct.
River Ridge going all the way to Wilson.
Parallel with Coonsey, if the land to the east was further developed.
Does the city have any concerns with traffic flow with that?
Nope.
pattern?
Not within it, no.
It's actually an improvement.
Okay.
So if they're not developing houses on that land that is considered a future road access, would there be a park there in the interim?
On this land or the land to the east?
The one where the future road access would be, if they're, so you're saying that houses wouldn't go where the future road would go?
At this time, the land to the east has not been identified for development, but it would provide the future access at the time that they would develop that. So right now, that landowner has not indicated a desire to develop that land.
But would there be a house in the way? That's what I want to know. Like if they're developing it now and they're putting houses there, is there going to be a house in front of the road access?
I think they're saying they're not going to develop on those lots, right?
Correct. So these lots here that are identified as phases 6 and 7, they haven't begun development in River Ridge on those phases yet. So
Right,
they're
so
currently
nothing would be built there.
correct. Yeah. They
Is
would
that
get rid of that.
for full lots 34, 35, 36 of that phase, the full lot size?
I don't believe it takes up the full lot size. I think
They lose one lot.
Yep.
They lose one lot.
Enough to meet city.
Yes, because the
easements and all
lots
that?
are,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be my own concern.
And
Okay.
it may reconfigure the neighboring lots just a little bit to kind of meet up
We
to that.
discussed this with the developer.
Yes, the developer has agreed to this.
Yeah, we have a landowner authorization letter. So the landowner has agreed to these 3 modifications. I will say I did have a phone call with the landowner to the east today. He called and asked. It's Dan McCarty. And he is supportive of this as well. He called because he had questions. He received the notice and he was asking many of the same questions you are. And so I just clarified for him that it would provide that notice or that access so that when his property converts to residential development, there would be a road access at that point. Yep.
And the Safe Roads to Schools, is that connecting to anything currently? Do we have anything there? Or?
It will connect, it will create a walking path from the Unity Manufactured Home Park.
Or south?
No,
No.
east to west.
Oh, across there.
So in the northeast corner of the Manufactured Home Park, there was a requirement for them to do an easement for a Safe Routes to School connection. But we need Mr. Hale with the River Ridge development to connect that to the sidewalk on River Ridge.
I remember that. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Any other questions for staff? Did you have anything else? I don't. Okay.
No.
Any questions, staff? Okay. Move on to public testimony. Is there any testimony in support of the application? Yes, that would be the city as the applicant. We heard from city staff. Is there any testimony opposing the application? Yes, sir. Please step to the microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Yes, Jonathan Tolman. You know, we have more that we're doing here, but just real quickly. My name is Jonathan Tolman. Just want to explain a few things. First, the last meeting on the November 18th, TSP plan is not approved. Skiddy closed discussion, opened again, just back and forth, no procedures. So it's ORS 197. Rules are not followed for meetings. Second, the city and county are supposed to work together to make these big decisions. Okay, this TSP draft in this parks, there's no goal to compliance. Okay, the county hasn't agreed to this plan, so you guys are supposed to wait. Okay,
Jonathan, I just want to remind you, we're not discussing the TSP. I would just ask that you keep
this
items
has everything
on
to do with
topic
it.
that relate to the substantive criteria.
You cannot approve this plan unless the TSP plan is approved first. And that is why it does make a difference. So what you're saying, Zach, is incorrect. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude with that. Please.
I don't think you're rude. I don't want to interrupt you.
Okay, and I appreciate that. Thank you. But I don't mind the discussion. Fifth, the city also is applying for one of these items tonight. That's against ORS 244 as an applicant. Okay, that's a conflict of interest. So again, my main point is let's follow the rules and procedures done correct. We are not following them. Carla knows what they are. She just doesn't want to say what it is. Okay, let's follow the rules, procedures, and get it done correctly. It's very complicated and very layered, but when we don't follow the rules, we don't follow the procedures, we have errors that happen, okay? And a lot of this is very, very, very complicated, and it is a huge packet. I also haven't seen a packet of any of this stuff here. I've asked numerous times for the packets of these things because what I see online and what I see digitally are two different things. So all these things really do concern me, especially with the 244. So finally, again, let's just do the process correctly and do the right thing. You guys don't want to be here for 2 hours, do you? I don't want to be here as well too. Just do the proper, and I don't even have to show up if you follow the procedures and protocols. Then there's nothing for me to critique. Please see that. Please see that. I don't want you guys to waste any more time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Solomon. Is there anyone else who wishes to give any testimony opposing the application? Yes, sir. Please step to the microphone.
Know if it's opposing or neutral, which should I ask it? Which part should I ask it?
Well, let's just go with it. If you just step to the microphone and we'll just go with it.
Randy
Oh, no, this
Baker,
is a good time.
resident 70251 Pioneer Lane. Property ownership in question is directly north of 69994 Coonsey Lane. My question is of a physical security nature, Mr. Commissioner. In the allowability of this to be built by the planning board, what's the requirement for the fence height that borders Coonsey Lane?
What's the question?
For this development, what is, for some physical security for my property, what is the height required of the fence? Because there's no access to Coonsey Lane from the project that's being discussed. So for safety, my question is, how high is that fence going to be?
I don't know what the requirement. Yeah, there's, I guess, a couple things. There is proposed access from Coonsey to the lot north. That is the River Ridge Drive. That is you can see it on the back of that paper in your left hand, sir. You look at the green portion. That shows Coonsey Lane would be on the bottom of that map.
Right.
Is where Coonsey is, and on the left third portion is River Ridge Drive. That is the roadway access.
Oh, that is. Okay.
It just shows the borders kind of darkened.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw a solid border.
Yeah.
That was my mistake then.
For the
thank you, Mike, for
fence
correcting that.
height, I don't recall that what the code is off the top of my head. I would refer you to city staff for that.
Okay.
6 foot. Correct?
I don't remember what
6
it is.
foot, and then you have to have a variance, or you have to ask for a difference if it's taller.
Yeah, and I think that's more a question between the developer and the city, making sure that they develop to code.
Okay. Would it be appropriate to state the reason of my concern?
I don't know. I wouldn't know without hearing your concern, so let's go for it.
Well, the reason my concern is because on that property where this drawing that you have that is labeled Southwest Sparrow Street, kind of in the middle. See where that street is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, directly going south on that street, going into my property, there used to be a very large grove of Russian olives.
I remember.
Pardon?
Yes, I'm aware. Yep.
Okay. And one of the things in the years that I was clearing the 9 acres is the thank yous I got from city and county police for clearing that, because they chased so many people that were running from the area and hiding in that olive grove or Russian olive, because the officers weren't going to go in there and rip their clothes all up. And with this
this size of development and having a career doing physical security of layouts, that's why I had my question on the physical security of the area.
So what's the question about the physical security? It's not clear to me. I'm
Just
sorry.
that there's at least a 6-foot fence between where,
Bordering Coonsey,
yes,
you're talking?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if we can.
Do we have requirements
Do that
for that?
here?
That we've requested of the developer?
I don't know if a fence was requested or required in the initial approval. We haven't gotten to phases 6 and 7 yet. So when we do, we'll review that.
Yeah.
So that would be a great time for you to come back and address those concerns that you have.
That won't be a planning commission.
Oh, well, wherever it goes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else with testimony opposing the application? Is there any neutral testimony? Is there any rebuttal from city as the applicant?
So sure, I'll take that role on. The issues around the TSP are not applicable. The city has a valid TSP. It's 2001 TSP. The county needs to co-adopt the current TSP that the city council adopted on Tuesday night. That'll happen in early 2026. The ORS 244 is about the functioning of the Oregon Government Ethics Commission. It's not applicable to this proceeding. There's nothing ethically concerning about this proceeding. So I would encourage you to not put any concern on that item. As to the other questions, I would encourage Mr. Baker to come in and talk to planning staff. We can certainly help answer those questions. River Ridge development, again, was approved a number of years ago. They have been working through phases. They're currently building phase 5. And when I say building, I mean houses are being built. The plat has been done, the infrastructure's in, the plat's been signed. They're building houses. Yeah, glad to answer any further questions you have.
Does anyone else have any questions for staff? I didn't have any that haven't been answered. Okay, we will close the public testimony portion. Is there any issue raised that needs questions answered? Either by city staff or commissioner? Okay, discussion time. Thoughts, concerns? Seems straightforward.
I mean, I'm all for a sidewalk that's gonna allow these kids to get somewhere safely without having to cut through the desert and, you know, find an alternative path. So to have a sidewalk that can be used, and it's not just the kids too. I mean, I know the Main Street stuff has nothing to do with this development, but why it has been down, it has really caused a lot of problems with people walking places. And so you tend to realize how much a nice place to walk and a safe place to walk really should be valued.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think this is, the previous phases have been kind of a good testament to, you know, good code in action with sidewalks and green spaces. I don't see any concerns with the future road access, the connection of the Safe Roads to schools would be the things that I would look at. They're all addressed. I don't personally see any concerns with this. Any other thoughts? not, I would like to entertain a motion. Public hearing is
Personal thing about what Ms. Layton just said.
the public portion of the meeting has been closed. Thank you very much, though. Appreciate your time. I would entertain a motion for
LDN 25-007.
Right,
Modification.
right. For the major modification, either as presented or as presented with additions or deletions or corrections, or to not approve as presented.
I move to approve conditional use permit LND 2507 as presented.
Second.
Okay, so motion and seconded for LND 25-7 as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Did you guys catch the first and the second? Because I didn't catch the first.
First was Mr. Cornell, and second was Commissioner
Okay.
Adams.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. The next public hearing we have, is this the last one? I think this is the last one.
So we've been at this almost 2 hours. Can I suggest a 5-minute break? Or do you guys want to plow on?
I think a bio break would be good.
That would be.
I would appreciate that, yeah. Okay. Well, no, we're
Reinstating the meeting, re-engaging the meeting.
reinstating them, yeah. Where were we at? We're at the PMP adoption, correct?
We are.
Okay. So this request is to adopt the Parks Master Plan as a guidance document for planned update to the City of Boardman Comprehensive Plan. Point of order, I'm going to open the public hearing at this time. So the request is to adopt the PMP, or the Parks Master Plan, as a guidance document for planned update to the City of Boardman Comprehensive Plan to inform Goal 8, specifically the criteria for approval are found in the Boardman Development Code, Chapter 4.1, types of application and review procedures. Specifically 4.1.600, a type 4 procedure legislative, is being processed as a type 4 decision with the final hearing before the City Council. The hearing, let's hear from the staff report to kick us off.
That's me. Yep. So again, Parks Master Plan, another process has been underway for quite some time. This is a collaborative effort with the Parks, let me get the right name, Boardman Park and Recreation District. They had a Parks Master Plan. It was adopted in 2012. It expired in 2022. Because of a number of things that were happening around, the district used to take care of city parks, and we've pulled that back, and we're doing that now. Knowing we had a lot of vacant land, knowing that we had River Ridge and other parks that were coming in the system, it seemed like just the kind of the right thing to do is develop a Parks Master Plan. As they needed one as well, we collaborated both in process and financially in this project. It's a big document. It's a lot to get through. I've read it like 3 times now, and I still find things that it's like, oops, I missed that, or it says that. So it's been a really fun process. I want to thank Commissioner Connell. He sat on the PAC for the Parks Master Plan.
Huge fun.
Huge fun. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. Over the past, year, probably. Yeah, it's been at least a year because we had our first community event back in January of this year. It was I messed up and I scheduled the TSP open house and the Parks open house on the same night. And I went, oops. And then I went, oh, maybe that's okay. And it really worked out well. We had a lot of people come through City Hall with the park in this room and the TSP in the living room next door. And had a lot of people come through here because we didn't let them just pick. They had to go through both. If you came for the parks, you had to go to the TSP. If you came to the TSP, you had to go to the parks. The PAC, again, thanks to Commissioner Connell for serving on the PAC. 5 meetings of the PAC over the course of that year. Lots of interim work, lots of community engagement with this project, tremendous amount. The consultant was in town a number of times, had a lot of conversations. One of the first meetings, she had a fairly large entourage with her, and we did I toured almost every park in town. And of course, they were not only inventorying our parks, they were inventorying the district's assets and facilities as well. And as you read through the plan, you will have noticed that it kind of goes back and forth between the two jurisdictions, the park district and the city. I think it was a little crazy making for the consultant team to try to figure out how to talk about various issues.
You have to commend them.
I do.
I mean, it was amazing how they kept everything understandable.
It is.
As much stuff as we had going on with it.
It really is. I give Giselle a lot of credit for the work she has done. And talk about comprehensive. There is a market assessment. There are suggestions for park maintenance and checklists. The reality is that the city taking on the parks over this past year have gone, our public works staff have gone through a pretty tremendous learning curve. But I think our facilities out there look as good as ever. And what's really, I think, exciting about the Parks Master Plan, it kind of lays it bare. I mean, we have a lot of problems. Even with the good parks we have a lot of problems. We have issues with ADA accessibility. We have issues with lighting, safety, parking. We have issues with kind of targeting, making sure we have appropriate play for all age groups. But what's great about this and what's great about the outreach that they did is there's really a lot of direction in this plan. So the 2 River Ridge parks that are now in city ownership, a couple of things there. In the future, we're going to hopefully get to park dedication through a better process. And we'll have a better idea based on this plan of what we need. So in the future, when we have the next River Ridge, we'll know what kind of park we need in that area and what we need to ask from that developer. We'll also know, we'll have a better sense of we need to target the smallest kids in this neighborhood, or we need to target the plan tells us those things, and it gives us that kind of direction. The level of service analysis in here talks about where parks are, where parks aren't, and where parks aren't. Maybe you've heard in the news, they often talk about food deserts. There's not a grocery store in that neighborhood, so it's a food desert. Well, we have a few park deserts. There's no park. And so this tells us where those areas are. And it's based on national standards. You know, you should live within so many minutes walking of a park or so many minutes of driving from a park. And they've applied those standards in the level of service. I apologize, I'm kind of meandering as I think about all the work that we've done over the past year relative to this parks plan. I should probably sit here and go through the table of contents and just kind of walk you through it, but that might get too boring. There's so much for us to learn about. You know, there's been a lot of turnover at City Hall in the past 5 years. And not long after Mr. Hammond came on as the city manager, we started addressing a lot of the housing issues, and we looked at the fact that we owned the property out Hillview, the back behind Mount Adams and Mount Hood. what nobody in this building knew is that there was a public dedication on that land. Well, we learned that. And that particular piece of land has been well evaluated in this plan. And the community very clearly indicated they want a sports complex. So that's what's targeted for that particular property. Now the plan also says it can only do so much and you've got more work to do. And so it actually calls for us to do a trails plan. It calls for us to do additional park planning, individual park planning for what the city council has now named Sunset Park, which is the park that I was just talking about for the future complex. We need to do park planning at Zuzu Park, which everybody goes, where's Zuzu Park? Well, it's kind of hidden in there behind Bailey Park.
Jenny.
Yep. Actually, that's Zuzu Street now. Yeah, that's confusing too. It tells us that we need to do wayfinding. If I didn't mention that, it says we need to do a wayfinding. The chamber and BCDA did some great wayfinding here a number of years back. But we need more. We need to do a better job of, once you get to a park, you need a sign that says, oh, you're at Joe's Park and this is the address and these are the park rules. And what I would say is when we get to adoption of the parks plan, it just means there's more work to do. And I think the plan does a really incredible job of kind of laying out what that work is. And so it's going to require a commitment from the city to keep doing that. The public advisory committee that we established for the Parks Master Plan, this job is done. But Brandon and I have been talking about the need for an ongoing Parks Advisory Committee, an advisory committee that will, have a 10-year life and help implement this until we need to update it. And park plans usually are identified with a 10-year life. There is a huge capital improvement list in the park plan. It is incredibly aspirational, and yet there's a number of those things that we really need to do. I mean, there are some things we need to do. And to that end, this spring, we will be relocating the splash pad to City Park on the other side. So I guess I'm just sharing, just so you have a sense of what is in the Parks Master Plan. It is slated for its final public hearing in front of both the City Council and the Boardman Park and Recreation District Board on January 13th. I would completely understand if you guys want to have more conversation about it and would want to continue this to have a little bit more discussion in December. I completely understand that. At the same time, if you're comfortable with it and you're ready to just move it forward for the City Council public hearing, that's okay too. We're continuing to refine it. I finally had to tell the consultant, put your darn pen down, stop. We've got to get to a draft so we can get into the public hearings process. And I did ask her to provide to me before tonight kind of a list of the things that she's continuing to work on. And so those items are an update to the table of contents. She just wants to kind of expand it a little more, make it a little more descriptive so you can understand maybe a little more detail, get down to the subheading kind of level. She's still working on photo credits. If you flick through it, there are some incredible photos from all over. I mean, there's a lot of pictures from here, but we were also looking for aspirational pictures. So I took pictures, she took pictures, Norma Ayala, our code compliance officer, took pictures. Amanda took pictures. We just, Mario Sepulveda, who many of us know is the local photographer, he provided pictures. We've borrowed pictures from the chamber and from the district. So she's working to make sure the photo credits are appropriate. Most of us at City Hall is just give City of Boardman credit. We don't need individual credit, but we want to make sure that people like Mario get credit for his photos.
Nice.
Still working on spelling, grammar, and formatting. Every once in a while, it's like, oops, when you read it for the third time, you finally notice that, something's not spelled quite right. Working to improve resolution, clarity, and alignment between images, text boxes, and the text. Still doing a little bit of data verification, looks like predominantly in the appendices. And again, the consultant is just so detail oriented. And yet I was impressed as I've read through this plan. She's very much an eloquent writer. She does a very good job of writing. She is trying to remove redundancies. She's doing some minor narrative clarifications. The scope required a executive summary that was supposed to be translated as well into Spanish. I need to work with her to pare the executive summary down and get it predominantly to text, because we're just going to place that executive summary on the web page, and then the park will be a link to a PDF document. But we want to have that executive summary so somebody can do Google Translate into any language like Google Translate allows. So she's working through our comments on that. She's adding a CIP appendix. And then she's going to work to continue to incorporate comments from you all, from staff, from the board. So yeah, it's kind of a long list. Again, she continues to work through that. And maybe that will conclude my staff report. I'm happy to answer any questions. I have one more thing I have to say. This has probably been one of the funnest projects to work on. I've learned a lot about parks, a lot.
Yeah, I learned we had a lot more of them than I thought we did. That's for sure. And I won't say much except that in the year and whatever months we've been doing it, the amount of work we did was a lot. I mean, we covered a lot of stuff and identified a lot of situations that need attention. And I'm just going to say that I am fully behind moving this forward, because we don't, while our shortcomings or our list of things to do with these parks starts with this thing getting approved so that we can use the tools that are in there to start working toward getting all of these things done. And I know everybody here wasn't there in all of those meetings, but you can, even if you don't trust government officials, you can take my word for it that we worked, and there was a lot of work done and a lot of things identified that we wouldn't have thought of had we not had it. There's just no way. And our parks are 10, 12, 15, 20 years behind a lot of other cities' parks. Some of them are just literally squares with grass on them. You wouldn't even know it's a park as you went by it. I didn't. So anyway, with that said, it would take you a year to go through all the stuff we went through, Anyway, that's all I had to say about it.
There's a lot of pictures in the document, and you can, and a lot of text boxes. You can read the plan part of it in a couple hours. I mean, reasonably in a couple hours. But I have to completely agree with Mike. If you want to get into the devil that is always the detail, you could spend days reading this plan. Days. Yeah.
All right. Any questions for staff? Is there any concerns from staff on the plan?
No. Again, the consultant team has been responsive. They've done yeoman's work. Again, from the first time they were here with the inventory through, I can't tell you how many project management team meetings with myself, George Scheimer, and two principals with the consultant team, Giselle with Shapiro Didway, and then Bonnie Giyasik is her name. She was with Eco Northwest. They were a sub on this, and she worked on the marketing and operations assessment. And no, it was just a phenomenal project. Mhm.
Nice, good. Point of order that I skimmed over. I do want to ask if anyone has any ex parte contact bias or conflict of interest before we move forward. Okay. Which I should have addressed before you report. As a point of order, I apologize. There's been a lot going on tonight. Okay, so and was there any correspondence to the city? Okay. Move on to public testimony. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the application? Does anyone wish to speak against the application?
My name is Jonathan Coleman. Just want to add this to the record. On April 15th, 2025, Carla is mentioning to Mike McConnell, okay, that the city at that on the meeting at the 0152 mark that said that Amazon might help pay for an RV park. And I just want to know what that meant. I would love to pull up the video right now. Yeah, Carla said it to you at that time. And because of that, okay, that because of you working for Amazon, that is a conflict of interest. And this needs to be
We're
noted.
not discussing that. That's not up for
It's a
discussion.
Parks Master Plan, April 15th, 2025. That's part of this meeting, okay? And I've added this to everything, okay? I've shown it. I've talked about it numerous times, okay? Again, this is just what I've talked about, how we just don't follow rules and procedures. And I bring it up, okay, as fact with proof, all right? And I'm citing it, April 15th, 2025, the video meeting at the 0152 mark, okay? That needs to be noted and added to the record, that whole meeting right there. And it's just frustrating that we can't talk about these things and what's really going on and why it's going on. And then we act.
You want added to the meeting that she said that to me?
I would like to know more information about it. What were we referring to? What were you referring to, Carla?
I couldn't tell you.
Mr. Tallman, please direct through me
Okay,
only.
what could you tell me about
The
it?
applicant will have a chance for their rebuttal.
What could you tell me about it? Because you have signed a non-disclosure agreement with Amazon. Are you familiar with it?
Which I will not discuss with you.
Well, you didn't.
Or anyone in this
mention,
forum because it's not an appropriate.
But hold on, but you just
forum.
said our ex parte and that I'm showing how that makes a difference as far as you leading the meeting. Now you should say, hey, you know what? Let me go and look at that PMP.
If it becomes evident that
It
there
is
becomes a conflict of interest for myself, I will absolutely recuse myself if that happens. I have not yet seen that. I see no conflict of interest. That is not up for, we're not debating that at the moment. I appreciate your concern.
April 15th,
Okay.
Parks Master Plan,
Right.
2025
Noted.
meeting. It says Amazon is potentially funding this RV park, which is the PMP, okay?
I'm sure the
I want it-
applicant will rebut this in their time,
Yeah,
yes.
but I want to know specifics. I want it documented. And to me, just the ex parte, to me, if I was you, I would say, hey, wait a second. I shouldn't even be leading this
If
meeting.
it comes to that
It is
after
coming
we're
to
done
that.
hearing public testimony, if there is an issue that will happen, I'm sure the applicant will rebut during their time.
Do I get to rebut that applicant's response back then?
Do you have any other issues that you want to speak to now?
Well, I want to hear what they say as far as the rebuttal back.
This is
because-
not a debate.
What
This is a public meeting.
Do you see
You
that?
have
Do you see
12
that?
seconds left of your
Hold
time.
on, but you're taking up your time by speaking back to me, okay? And that is the issue that I have is the ex parte conflict of interest on these type of things that need shown, all right?
Will
And-
be
and-
dealt with accordingly.
It
Yes,
is not being dealt
absolutely.
with accordingly because I'm bringing this up and you guys refuse and you won't let me talk and you won't let me speak. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate your time. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak against the application? Is there anyone who has neutral testimony?
I don't know if it's neutral or not, but I have no idea what our conversation was about. And I couldn't tell you what it meant now, period.
Well, hearing none, let's move on to rebuttal. Carla, can you speak to any of this?
There is no RV park that is proposed as a city park in the city parks master plan.
Okay. At all?
Nope,
Okay.
not proposed.
Right.
There is a district campground, and they do have a proposed expansion. There is no other proposed RV park on Mr. Tallman's property or any other property as part of the parks master plan.
Okay. Is there any perceived conflict of interest for specifically myself that you would
No,
have noted?
no,
Okay.
there is not.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so. Anything you two would add over there? Okay.
No.
No. Okay.
I-
Do you have public testimony?
Okay,
This is a public testimony portion.
okay. My only point of clarification was a while back at a gathering somewhere, I don't remember. But the one comment about a no RV site on the Tallman property.
Okay, so Randy Baker, right? It was
Oh,
Randy Baker.
I'm sorry. Randy Baker, 70251 Pioneer Lane,
Okay, thank you.
Boardman.
Appreciate it.
But on one of the handouts I have, it's written on there that it's the new RV site.
I don't know what you have.
Do I give you or?
Yeah, if you can hand it to Stephanie, it's nothing that we've been given. I don't know what that is. Is that past notes of something or?
I don't recognize it, but I'll let the commission take a look at it.
Sure.
This was a while back while I was.
Can you explain what we're looking at?
This, I guess, this was from.
Inventory
a
of our
while back,
parks.
so this is my.
Okay.
question
Parks
here.
inventory is all it is.
It was on there and I'll talk about, then all of a sudden, it was just made to be erased right there.
Okay.
And somebody's obviously just covered something with it and just made a new copy.
Okay, I'll show them this. I don't.
It's an inventory of our parks. So.
And I only
Okay,
bring
can
it
you
up.
direct our attention to
I
what you're
don't-
referring
I
to?
bring it up because of well, back in my Robert Rules of Orders days, just a point of clarification. There was a statement made on the record that doesn't appear to be true by the documentation
Which is
I received a while back,
what?
which is, there is an RV park that this entity has planned to put onto Tallman property.
Okay, so you're saying that there is a RV park that was planned at some point as an idea. It is now not an idea currently or not being pursued and no longer on a map. And that is a concern. Why?
Because it was just stated, there's never been an RV park planned on Tallman property.
There's not one planned now is what was said. Whether there was one planned and then it was unplanned, I don't know. I'm not privy to every meeting we've ever had, but there is nothing planned now, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's made it around to Carla what he had, but that I don't recognize that as part of the proposed parks master plan in front of you this evening.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's passed around. I'll go ahead and not say anymore.
Okay. Was there any other
No, I
concerns?
just-
Okay.
That's the only copy I got. So I'll
Okay.
just-
I appreciate it. Do you want this back?
Yeah,
It's been submitted. It can't be returned. It's been submitted.
Okay. Could we make copies?
We could.
If you would like a copy back,
Oh, we'll make copies and give him that back.
which we can adjust after, but I appreciate it.
You know, I just don't understand that. I was just showing you.
Okay.
Well, do you mind if we make a copy of it for ourselves and give you yours back?
Yes.
It has been presented in front of the planning commission. It has to be a part of the record.
Right. And just as to be clear, part of the record, we have confirmed we are not planning said RV park. We have no current plans in front of the city. I think there's been lots of plans around here for anyone who's been around here for a while, like yourself. There was once a racetrack proposed, didn't happen. Lots of plans come and go. I think this is one of those, but there's nothing currently planned.
I don't see how we could plan an RV park on Tallman's property without Tallman's permission.
True.
And so I wouldn't even manage as to why we would go and ask that permission.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see a point in wasting further time on something that
that
may
my
have
time?
been.
Is that my time?
Yeah, we
Okay,
paused
I
it.
just want to say that, Mike, on your statement, on that statement about Mr. Tallman wouldn't have known, Terry's gone, but
You wouldn't know.
but that has happened. I mean,
Are you saying what?
I'm just saying that there has been stuff done to the Tallmans. There's been stuff done to me, and that because of what was done to me when I came back to Boardman, and some people contacted me to make sure that I was not going to follow through on some of the things my father was doing.
I can appreciate that completely. All I can tell you is what I know since I've been here.
Okay. But when a statement is made, that has never happened before. Terry can't confirm what he told me, but he told me it has directly. And the involvement that I had with this board years ago on one of my pieces of property in town and that 18-acre place that you're doing your pump station now. And none of the people in this room were involved at that, but it was people at the positions in this room and other appointed or positions that just tried to play the game. And I can show you letters and all kinds of stuff from back then. But when I bring something up and when I hear the statement that there's never been an RV site, the reason that I would not follow what my father did is because my integrity level is different than what I experienced in 2015 to 2017 with people that wanted to know my intent. Now that I came back to help my folks, I mean, I get emotional looking at that chart, remembering weeks at our kitchen table, those cities where the city of Boardman is. My dad said every night drawing that out and watching him. I did all of his pencil sharpening. And I know what happened to build Boardman. My family was in the first Boardman at the end of at Tom's Camp Road, then at the Boardman that was down on the river where the school was built, and now this Boardman. And when I see what's going on, it's just so troubling. And everybody, I'm sure everybody knows that I'm not staying around here because of the things that I've tried to do.
I would mention a couple of things. First, thank you. Appreciate the comments. I would echo what Mike said. I think all of us would, thank those who've come before us and, help build the city that we live in and serve. Secondly, I would say no one's saying that something was never proposed. saying it's not proposed currently, not anything that's being sought. Hope to address both yours and Mr. Tallman's concerns. The fact that something was discussed at some point does not mean that that is indicative of the future and what is currently planned. Plans come and plans go, and that's not part of what is currently planned. So I do appreciate the public comment, though. We will close the public hearing at this time. Does staff need to respond to any questions that were raised that has not been addressed?
Just going to state one more time, there is no proposed RV park as a proposed park in the Parks Master Plan.
Okay. Appreciate the note of clarity. Does any commissioner have any questions for staff? That was my question, so thank you. Any discussion from commissioners?
Oh, it seems pretty straightforward.
Again, I'm happy to bring it back for you next month. And again, if you're comfortable with it, just moving forward to the council's hearing in January, again, that will be a joint hearing with the district. I'm good with that too.
Mike, I look to you specifically, like any concerns or thoughts on
No,
this,
in fact,
having sat on the
I
panel?
would move forward to Park Master Plan as presented to City Council for approval.
Okay. Is that a
For
motion?
final consideration, I should say. Yeah, it's
Okay.
a motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. So a motion and a second for moving forward with the Park Master Plan as presented to the City Council for final consideration. Is that correct?
Yes.
Might I ask you to modify that to acknowledge the changes that we're working on, those edits that are happening?
So the Park Master Plan is amended?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, so I move to forward Park Master Plan as amended, discuss proposed changes to the City Council for final consideration. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay. So to confirm, the motion by Commissioner Connell, seconded by Commissioner Layton, is to move forward with the Park Master Plan as currently amended to the city for final consideration. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did I say that right? That's okay. Motion and a second on the floor. All in favor of forwarding the Park Master Plan as amended to the city for final consideration, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to any discussion items. Carla, do you have an update for this portion?
Yeah, there was a update in the packet. Sorry, we didn't bring a copy in here for you this evening. It's my usual update, just kind of talks about everything that's going on. A quick summary would be the City Council did adopt the TSP on Tuesday. It will go to co-adoption hearings with the county in early January and February of 2026. Once that's done, we'll do a notice of adoption and finalize the process with DLCD. It's been asserted that we don't have a TSP. We do. We still have a 2001 TSP. It's frustrating as it is. It still works. This is moving forward. Thank you guys for coming out 2 nights this week. For those of you that were here Tuesday night, I think that's all of you. I think you were all here Tuesday night. So thank you for all being here Tuesday night. Staff have worked with the consultant team for the EOA. We'll have a submittal ready version by December 5th. We'll do notice to the Department of Land Conservation and Development. That'll be on your January agenda. It'll be on their January agenda. And then to the City Council in February, and that's the EOA. We have finalized the scope of work for the housing capacity analysis. We have the consultant budget for that. It's a good thing I sat down when I was reading it. Things just keep getting more and more expensive. But we should be getting that kicked off by the first week of December. So we will be appointing a advisory committee for that. And I need to come back to you all and ask for a volunteer for that because the previous volunteer will no longer be on the planning commission. So one of you needs to step up for the HCA. Work is continuing on the comp plan and the development code, but slowing down just a little bit because we're going to actually pause it. Well, not pause, but we're just going to kind of slow things down because we want to incorporate the information that comes out of the HCA in the comprehensive plan, make it as comprehensive an update as we can for a comprehensive plan. See what else is going on. We'll continue to, well, again, we talked tonight. So the earlier action to kind of look at the whole residential zone. So we'll be doing that. That work will, but we've also got code amendments that have been recommended that are coming out of the TSP, the Parks Master Plan, and the EOA. So those mostly don't address housing, they address other components. So we'll probably wait just a little bit longer before we really tackle those. One of the big things, we started a project a number of years ago to update the city's system development charges. And we were talking about doing a parks charge and a transportation charge. The consultant doing that work for us said, well, do you have plans for those? And we said, no, we really don't. Well, now we almost do. So we will be kicking off again our SDC updates. And we will currently SDCs cover water and wastewater. We're going to do the work to look at adding both parks and transportation to that. And of course, that final decision is a city council decision. So we'll work through that. That'll probably be a 6 to 9 month project. And based on the improvement projects in both the TSP and the Parks Master Plan, we've got a lot to work with. The city council did adopt public work standards a couple months ago. So we're implementing those relative to roads and how infrastructure happens and things. So hopefully development gets easier from that perspective. On the development front, I don't want to say a whole lot, but you guys are going to stay busy. So lots of pre-apps happening, have some applications. We do have a public hearing. In addition to what you continued tonight, the housing thing that got continued, we do have an application for December that has been noticed. And then we already know that in January, you'll have the EOA. And there's probably 1 or 2 more things that will hit, not December, but may hit in January that will be actions. Let me just say it's exciting inside City Hall on certain days. So I think that would kind of, anything you two would add?
I think I would just mention, for those of you that don't know, our website, we have the AI program Urban Form that went live earlier this month. And I know some of you participated in that. So it is available on the website and it's got some really great information. And we're still kind of looking at it and, you know, if something comes up and you say, hey, that looks kind of funny, or maybe that doesn't feel right, make sure to let us know, because as we all know, it's a computer program, so it may not be perfect, but so far we're pretty happy with it.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I would say is that, you know, we launched Citizen Serve, which is our online permit program 2 years ago, about. Now we've just launched Urban Form, which allows you to go in and it, you know, it's an AI generated, it kind of, you say, I want to do something on this lot. You tell it exactly what lot. It knows what the zoning is. It can go in and pull that out of the development code and tell you what the requirements are. So, you know, I want to build a fence. What are the requirements? It answers those questions. I would always encourage you to get the proper permit, though, through the planning department in an official way.
I will say I was the very first one to get one off of that thing.
You may have been, Mike. I think you were our guinea pig.
It took you like 4 days to figure out how to charge me for it.
Yeah.
For the permit.
We're getting better at that part, but
I kept trying to pay you, but it kept kicking it back to me saying, no, we don't accept money.
Yeah.
Right, whatever.
The third thing that we're getting ready, in fact, I learned today that I will have maybe next week, and I will certainly look at it while I am on the road in Texas. the original hub platform, or the first hub platform for our GIS interactive map. And we'll put that on the website, so people will be able to go and look, and there won't be a lot of detail about some of the infrastructure, but you'll be able to see where water and wastewater lines are, where hydrants are. We're hoping UEC will let us put where the streetlights are, because we do have that data layer. But the really cool thing is the GIS that we have been collecting. ODOT today approved use of contingency funds on the TSP to be able to take the maps, the data that supports all of the maps that are in the TSP. And we're going to build those into GIS data spreadsheets. So we'll be able to put those maps in our interactive map. And Anderson Perry, who does our GIS, did all of the mapping work for the Parks Master Plan. And so I talked with our GIS guy just for a few minutes today about Boardman issues. And we're going to need to go through, because the actual data that is provided for all these parks that can be deployed into the GIS is incredible. I mean, again, I'll just go back and say that this consultant has done phenomenal work. So we'll be able to have parks information, TSP information on our interactive GIS map when that gets out there. I'm hoping first quarter of 26, but
so soon.
Yeah. I mean, they've been doing the work in the background, and there's a lot of it. Like we're working through a sidewalk inventory that we need to start. They've done the the tabletop aerial, and now we need to go out and truth check where the actual sidewalks are. We need to get these. We're going to figure out where we're at with all this GIS stuff, and first of the year start actually checking things off. And
very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have no idea how GIS works in the background, but I know what you can do with it on the public facing or the forward facing side, and it's exciting.
I remember seeing the first time I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think I have anything else. Arlie, anything from you? Yeah. One of the things
so much.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah. One of the things we don't talk a lot about in here is we do have a contract with Gillum County. And that is a primary role of Stephanie's in her day job. Is she functions as the planning director for Gillum County. And when that first started, we thought, oh, not a lot's going on in Gillum County. Oh my, that's changed over the past year, and we've been incredibly busy on that front as well. So the development that's happening here is not exclusive to here; it's region wide. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, it's time for public comment. I would like to invite public comment this time. I would just say the public comment period is essential part of local government. In meetings, our commission strongly takes community input for consideration. However, in observance of Oregon open meeting laws, this isn't time for dialogue, rather time for us to listen to you. Our planning official will direct staff to follow up with you regarding your comments or questions. Anyone may speak on any topic other than any matter in litigation, a quasi-judicial land use matter, or a matter scheduled for public hearing at some future date. Again, has to limit to people 3 minutes. We've gone a very long meeting tonight. The only name we have is Mr. Tallman. No one else has submitted to speak. Are you still wanting to make public comment?
Thank you for putting up with me. I really do appreciate it, but we need to have some character and integrity when I bring up these things. Okay, it's just sad that we can't have a real dialogue and a real conversation. And I welcome to go over the documents that I'm referring to, because it is so important. And I want Boardman to be a city on the hill. That's a Bible reference. Okay, I'm not a perfect Christian. I am flawed. Okay, but what I'm asking is that we work together to solve problems. And most of these issues here, there's not proper conversation back and forth. And that's really ultimately what it's about. So I'm sorry, I don't even know your name for picking on you, but I just want it for future for that seat. I still want a written documented copy that I can add this to my files, not one that I print off, because when I go and print it off, it's different than what I have as far as written from you, so that I can say, and I can put it in my pile, that I have the written documentation of what went on. I'm not asking for too much when I ask for this stuff, because it has directly affected my property. It's directly affected my business, and I'm being more than fair. I really ask, please have a reflection. Are you guys being fair? Zach, am I being fair by asking about the conflict of interest from the non-disclosure agreement, especially when I can reference the PMP with the Amazon? Okay. I already know the answer, but I'm just asking you to reflect on that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for putting in your civic duty and your civic time. I do appreciate it. Everybody, even you, Carla, I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I guess I would call out the ethical issue noted, and that was very clearly stated there was no conflict of interest, as that was something that is not under consideration. Had it been at some point in time, I cannot speak to. I think we've hashed it enough.
Do you want me to file one, Zach, so we can see what the OGEC says?
I think we've covered it ad nauseum.
No, just ask me. I mean,
If you would like to see any other record, it is, all of these meetings are available on the website. They're completely open to the public.
yeah, April 15th, 2025, 0152. Please check it out.
Noted. Okay, is there any other public testimony? Or public comment, excuse me, yes.
I don't see
Too many public
anybody
meetings today, sorry.
online that has raised their hand, so.
There is a hand raised online?
No, I haven't seen
There is not.
anybody raise their
Okay.
hand, so.
Okay, any comments from any commissioner? I would make a single solitary comment to thank you all very much for your time and patience. Very much appreciated. I know it was a long night. Thank you. That's all I have. Anything before we adjourn? Okay, meeting's adjourned.